Hey everybody, welcome to Tweaker Friendly. Today, I ran across something a little bit ago on, I think it was just a Facebook post or something. I seen that Andy Bashir, I don't know if he declared it today, but anyhow, it's Recovery Advocacy Day. And, as you guys should know, I'm in recovery as well as several people I know, I've been through the program, been through drug court. Let's see, I've been to two different rehab facilities. Um, I've made my way around it a little bit. And, see, I got a few notes here. See, we're one of the few states whose drug overdose rates have gone down for 2 years. That's really good. I'd like to know more about how how they're doing this. Like, is it because you know more people are locked up and dead? So if they can't overdose, then of course the rate's going to go down.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
I mean, more than likely. I mean, you take out the numbers, the numbers change. It's just like the the dope problem's going on around everywhere, but it seems like things are a lot more calm around here now, I guess you'd say, in our area, where, I mean, it used to be pretty well all that went on, but, so many people are dead or in jail now, like, it just,
Yeah.
it's not a problem anymore. But I don't know that I quite agree with, what the deal is with everyone being in jail for, I mean, yeah, they're illegal or dangerous stuff, but the amount of time that people spend locked up because of all this, or the money they got to shell out. You know, I get that people, have to we have to be corrected or punished or whatever, but I mean, goddamn, uh, you take you break people's families. I mean, don't get me wrong. Technically, you've broke it yourself by you know doing these things,
Yeah.
but getting caught just one time will really snap a lot into place. So you can't exactly just let it go with a slap on the wrist, but man, they're filling up so many jails with this. Like in our area especially, it's not really too many criminals. I mean, there are, but you look at our jails, and the majority is going to be people in there for child support or unpaid fines,
Yeah.
failure to appear,
Yeah, just like
dope.
little peddly stuff.
Yeah, and occasionally you'll get like someone stealing something. Usually, the stealing goes right there with the dope. I don't know, like there's just not. It's not that we don't have violent crimes, but
Yeah,
it's a lot.
they're few far and in between around here, really.
Yeah, and two, that's another thing that goes back to the numbers. We are in a low populated area, so uh, there's just not that many people. You just can't have that high in numbers. You can always figure out a percentage, but still, after you do that, it's going to sound a little different. Like looking up in California earlier, I didn't quite get all the facts, but in California, it's like your first time getting caught with meth. All right, it's a misdemeanor. You let's see, you can face up to a year in jail. Now this is given it's all like your first charges. This for people that's already felons. They definitely lay it to you if they catch you with meth or just things like that. But if you're just the average Joe and you get caught with some, it's got to be established that you know what it is. And on top of that, I thought this was cool was that it has to be enough to, I think it said doable amount was the actual words for it. So I'm guessing that means like a dose or something that you can actually use, get high off of or whatever. Like when I got arrested the first time, I had a bag, and it was an empty bag. I'd been cleaning up around the place earlier that day, stuck it in my pocket, I guess, to throw it away or something. Guys, once again, let me apologize for the traffic here by the apartment. It's all I got to work with right now. But anyhow, I had a bag, and literally it was just empty. When I got the report back, I was looking online and stuff trying to figure out, alright, to prove that, that was in there, how much does it take to, to be able to test it? And I got looking, and there's, however the method is they test now, I forget what it is, but from what I can understand, it's basically using some sort of light waves and microwaves or some shit. It's not like a chemical test. It's this whole fucked up process, and where normally, it's just like a little chemical testing kit. And obviously that wouldn't have been enough to test this bag, because it came back in, I believe it was 0.0063, and then several other numbers of a gram. So you're looking at, what was that, 10th, 100, so you're looking at 6 thousandths of a gram. Literally, that's not even dust in the bag. It's just where it had existed once before. But everybody, welcome to Tweaker Friendly. Today, I ran across something a little bit ago on, I think it was just a Facebook post or something. I seen that Andy Bashir, I don't know if he declared it today, but anyhow, it's Recovery Advocacy Day. And, as you guys should know, I'm in recovery, as well as several people I know. I've been through the program, been through drug court. Let's see, I've been to 2 different rehab facilities. I've made my way around it a little bit. And, see, I got a few notes here. See, we're one of the few states whose drug overdose rates have gone down for 2 years. That's really good. I'd like to know more about how they're doing this. Like, is it because, more people are locked up and dead? So, if they can't overdose, then, of course the rate's going to go down.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
I mean, more than likely. I mean, you take out the numbers, the numbers change. It's just like, the dope problem's going on around everywhere, but it seems like things are a lot more calm around here now, I guess you'd say, in our area, where, it used to be pretty well all that went on, but, so many people are dead or in jail now, like, it just, it's not a problem anymore. But I don't know that I quite agree with, what the deal is with everyone being in jail for, yeah, they're illegal, they're dangerous and stuff, but, the amount of time that people spend locked up because of all this, or the money they gotta shell out, I get that people, have to be corrected or punished or whatever, but, goddamn, you break people's families. Don't get me wrong, technically you've broke it yourself by, doing these things, but, getting caught just one time will really snap a lot into place, so you can't exactly just let it go with a slap on the wrist, but, man, they're filling up so many jails with this, like in our area especially, there's not really too many criminals. There are, but, you look at our jails, and the majority is going to be people in there for child support or, unpaid fines,
Yeah.
failure to appear,
Yeah, just
dope.
like little peddly stuff.
Yeah, and occasionally, you'll get like, someone stealing something. Usually, the stealing goes right there with the dope. I don't know. Like, there's just not. It's not that we don't have violent crimes, but it's a lot.
Yeah, they're few far and in between around here, really.
Yeah, and two, that's another thing that goes back to the numbers. We are in a low populated area, so uh, there's just not that many people. You just can't have that high in numbers. You can always figure out a percentage, but still, after you do that, it's going to sound a little different. Like looking up in California earlier, I didn't quite get all the facts, but in California, it's like your first time getting caught with meth. All right, it's a misdemeanor. You let's see, you can face up to a year in jail. Now this is given it's all like your first charges. This for people that's already felons. They definitely lay it to you if they catch you with meth or just things like that. But if you're just the average Joe and you get caught with some, it's got to be established that you know what it is. And on top of that, I thought this was cool was that it has to be enough to, I think it said doable amount was the actual words for it. So I'm guessing that means like a dose or, something that you can actually use, get high off of or whatever, like when I got arrested the first time, I had a bag and it was an empty bag. I'd been cleaning up around the place earlier that day, stuck it in my pocket, I guess, to throw it away or something. Guys, once again, let me apologize for the traffic here by the apartment. It's all I got to work with right now. But anyhow, I had a bag and literally it was just empty. When I got the report back, I was looking online and stuff trying to figure out, all right, to prove that, that was in there, how much does it take to, to be able to test it? And I got looking and there's, however the method is they test now, I forget what it is, but from what I can understand, it's basically using some sort of light waves and microwaves or some shit. It's not like a chemical test. It's this whole fucked up process, and where normally, it's just like a little chemical testing kit. And obviously that wouldn't have been enough to test this bag because it came back in, I believe it was 0.0063 and then several other numbers of a gram. So you're looking at, what was that, 10th, 100th, so you're looking at 6,000ths of a gram. Literally, that's not even dust in the bag. It's just where it had existed once before. But, I guess I'm back to my main points. Kentucky, I've said for a long time, the business to be in Kentucky right now is recovery or, something working with drug addiction, different things like that. It seems to be the trend right now. And there's things going on like the art program I was in before. It's a faith-based, and I still don't understand it completely. But me, as well as most people that are in treatment, went there to more or less get out of jail. Because I was able to go get in a program, stuff, get started back on drug court. Don't get me wrong, I was very, very fortunate. But while I was in there, you live there and you learn things. ARC is it's like a rehab franchise for like Eastern Kentucky. So yeah, they got all these different facilities, and each facility has like different phases, and when you complete the phases, you're supposed to move to another facility. which is fucked. I really don't understand a lot of it or what the different places are. The one I went to was an absolute shithole. It was in Boonville, Kentucky, and it's out basically in the middle of nowhere, up this 4-wheeler trail to a place. It was an old summer camp.
Yeah.
It was, yeah, and they call it Carpenter's Village because all these art programs are supposed to offer, um, so like some sort of training at the end. They sold me on that really good. There's some places, I think one down in Louisville, they even have like studio recording and shit. All these trades. There's mechanics. There's carpentry. And one of the first days I got there, I went up to the wood shopping class. Dude told me I couldn't be up there, and I was like, "What the fuck? Why not?" He's like, "Well, you got to be so far along, blah blah blah." So more or less, this motherfucker had been in rehab for like 2 years.
Shit.
Yeah, not to mention later on he had been banging like the what would you say, most active, respected guy at the rehab. He was at the top tier. He was a good dude. But anyhow, this asshole up at the woodworking station or whatever the fuck you'd call it was banging his wife. And that's one of the big things is all this shit is so much bullshit. You're supposed to learn these ways and blah blah blah. And really, like I've said, you get these programs like that. It's one thing to go through a treatment program. You're in there so long, you learn what you can, you do whatever, and you either make it through or you don't. If you're lucky and need to, you can go back, or I don't know. But the long-term programs like that where you go, you come in as phase 1 or whatever. Sometimes there's even a pre-phase.
Yeah.
You keep going and you keep going, and eventually you get through the phases. Then you can get to what is it? Something right before staff. And more or less you might get to do a little more shit or might have to do a little less shit. Either way, you're still there, and I think you can get actual housing. Then you can become a staff member and work there, which I assume pays not great, and it's mostly just people hanging out. And in the case where you're somewhere like I was, you're at a facility out in the middle of fucking nowhere, so living there is basically the only option you've got. But I've said before plenty of times, it's something you gotta want to do. I mean, that's what everyone says you want to do, but really, so you get in these programs, and people, they don't learn how to be sober. It's just the same as like if you go to jail or plain and simple, you go to rehab. You go somewhere where you can't have drugs. And don't get me wrong, there's just as much dope in jail and rehab as there is on the street. But it does make it a little bit easier of an option whenever you're kind of restricted from it to not.
Yeah, not do it.
Yeah. So, and I always compared this to bowling with the gutter guards. The thing is, when you're in treatment, you want to use that time to learn the tools that you need in life to be able to do to live your life normal again, to a well extent, but being able to have that control. And if you're just in the program and it's working for you, you could be there for years, like I said, staff member, whatever. But if you don't learn it, then when you do leave or what have you, if you do decide you want to go back to your hometown or you want to just start a whole new life, but you want to be outside of just a facility, it's like bowling with the gutter guards. So, when you start and you've got the gutter guards up, cool, it's there. You won't go in the gutter. But if you don't take advantage of that and learn how to bowl while you've got them up, keeping you safe. Well, then once the gutter guards are gone,
Yeah.
It's basically 50-50. It's either going to roll on down or you're going to go in the fucking gutter. And it's best just to learn to not let it go near the gutter while you can. So, that was my whole goal. I wanted to come back home, be, with my family, just go back to a normal life, I guess you could say. And I feel like I've been pretty successful. It took me a while. I had to go to another program. This was a Pathways program in Mount Sterling. The place was completely different. It was ran by people who do have their normal daily lives, but they're all recovered addicts, really good, chill people. Everyone, it was real easy to relate to. There's no hierarchy of who's better than who. That was a really good one. I know there are some good ones out there. But like I said, ARC, at the end of the day, it's fucked. It's faith-based, so the only thing you can get out of them is, the only answer for any of this is Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And they say it exactly like that, which is why I'm saying it like that. They say, Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. They don't even really mention God. Like, God's pretty well out of the picture. There's some work out of the Bible and stuff. AA isn't really touched at all. Different facilities might be different, but as far as I can tell, they're all pretty well the same agenda. But, you can't just give that to people and say, here you go. And not to mention, I'm not sure how much money goes into this. For most people, it's health insurance, whatever, WellCare or Medicaid. But one way or another, if someone's needing to go to rehab, they'll get you in there.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. There was a guy actually at Boonville. While we're down there, they get us all set up on food stamps. They get us our IDs and so on and so forth, which we weren't allowed to have food of our own, but, they'd still get us the stamps for when we got out. And anyhow, the guy who'd done that and got everyone's food stamps, his fucking license plate. Actually, I've got a hat that he gave me. I might have given to you. I'm not sure. Anyhow, his license plate read EBT Man.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
EBT Man.
Yeah, nice fucking truck too. But hell, if he was rocking our food stamps, fuck yeah. Someone may as well use them. I'm not getting to.
Yeah, like I know they're like rehabs. They'll if you don't have like food stamps and shit, they'll get it for you. So that way they can use it to get provide the food and stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of sucks, because then well, if I paid for some of it, I want to eat what the fuck I want to eat out of it, not what you want to feed me. But.
Right. And that's the thing. So where's the money go that they're getting from our insurance companies to, pay, that's supposed to pay for our food?
Yeah.
Something is going somewhere. Truth be told, they're probably taking them and fucking trading them for dope.
Yeah. Because, a lot of them are ex-addicts and stuff.
Mm-hmm. When I was in Mount Sterling, they had, we found out it was just one kid stealing real bad, but, shit would get stolen. People take our pops and shit. Anyhow, so we all pretty well had it down to a T. One time I literally did catch him red-handed, well, black-handed. I busted a pen open and put ink on the back of some pop cans and put them in the fridge so that way we could see who the fuck keeps taking them, and got the kid wash them off. But anyhow, he was stealing all this shit, and they more or less made this rule for everyone. They said, up there, well, people are still in that mentality, coming out of jail or being on the streets and blah, 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 and it's like, that's great, but we're here to fucking break free from that, and aside from that, we're here at your facility, and people stealing our shit.
Yeah.
So, and they teach all that accountability bullshit, and all that does is, well, no one really holds anyone else accountable because there'd be too much fucking conflict. You know, I mean, that's common goddamn sense. But it's also a way for people to not have to deal with shit they're supposed to be dealing with. You know, instead of fucking taking care of this problem with this kid stealing and trying to help us out and get all our shit back, well, you gotta hold each other accountable. Accountable for fucking everything. It's like, you know, we can be held accountable for what the fuck ever, but you still got a job to do. But when we're in treatment, you know, there's not shit we can do about it. And I really feel for the people that straight up cannot do shit about, you know, people that don't have a family to go back to, people that, you know, maybe have some kids somewhere, or someone, you know, they might get to talk to that they don't have anything to do with, or plain and simple, there might just not be anything. I definitely lost my train of thought there. Fucking got on one. This rehab shit does get me tore up. Anyhow, let's go back to some of these keynotes before I just ramble too much about how much I fucking hate rehab. See, something Bashir said that I wrote down was, if you're seeking recovery for the first time, second time, fifth time, or 10th time, as long as you're trying, we're proud of you. Now, I get that. You can't help but be proud of someone that's trying, you know. But 10th time or more, son of a bitch. You know, how many, you know, definitely try and get clean, but at the end of the day, you're just not doing shit and you keep getting sent back to fucking rehab.
Like, something's not working there.
Yeah, I mean, they're giving you a home, they're giving you a crutch, you know, and, you know, a lot of people can do it, a lot of people can't, most people won't.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't blame, I totally see that. I'm not better than any of them yet. But there comes a point where, you know, even for whatever reason, you gotta make yourself do it. But something I've seen in rehab a lot was, you get people that talk about, you know, how well they know it and know the program and all this, because this is like their fucking 8th time in there. Oh yeah, trust me, I know all how this stuff goes, and you know, like they can teach us something. It's like, motherfucker, you just said this is your 8th time being here. Like, obviously something's not fucking sinking in. So you really don't know any of this shit.
Yeah, we had a couple like that where I was at. Been there 3 or 4 times, and like, well, I guess after so many times, like, they just won't let you come back.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, at that point, it's basically just a fucking homeless shelter, somewhere where you can go, you know, hang out, clean up for a couple days and shit, get you some meals, and then fucking quit again.
Yeah.
And then just wait till next time. Not a bad gig. Personally, like I said, I wanted to get straight and come home, all that jive. But, you know, keep giving them time after time, and it's, I don't see it like just live in rehab or whatever. And I was looking up the Narcan. I was curious what it would cost just buying it, and I guess in a lot of places you do have to pay for it. Here in Kentucky, I mean, they give it away like crazy. There's programs like, I forget, like safety health programs and shit. You know, they got the needle exchanges and different things like that. They're always handing out Narcan. I'm surprised that hell they might be handing out Narcan outside the elementary school. I don't know.
I mean, fuck.
Yeah, I mean, they're tossing around everywhere. There's a bus, Pathways bus that comes down here in town every Friday, and they got like a little Narcan training. It takes like 3 minutes. They, you know, more or less say, all right, this motherfucker's dead, or if this motherfucker just done a bunch of fucking fentanyl or heroin. If he just did a bunch of drugs and now he's on the floor with blue lips and he's, not breathing and shit, chances are you're going to want to Narcan him. Chances are he's overdosed. So, they show you, all right, pop this in her nose and give him that. And I think maybe slap him around or some shit. I don't know. I never really paid attention to what's going on there.
Yeah.
But they give you, let's see, each little container of Narcan, I guess, has a double shot in it. So that way, if one don't work, you give them another one. But so you get 2 of those, and they give you a Dollar General gift card, a $10 gift card. So, if you're a doper, dope head, you could take that and get your Narcan training in, and then go, spend that $10 on pop or whatever, or you could just trade it for $10 worth of dope. And that's like dollar for dollar, not none of that like 50-cent food stamp shit. You actually get the full dollar's worth.
And that's what makes it worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. That 3 minutes, that's all it takes. Every Friday, they tell you, keep coming back. Hell yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah, I'll clean you out of some coupons.
Yeah, I'll take every one of them you got. And then Narcan, I guess, if you've got to buy it over the counter or whatever, or in other places besides here, $50 for the little plug, or I don't know exactly what you'd call it. It's got, two doses in it, like pop 1, that don't work, pop 2, and it's out. $50 fucking dollars for one. Around here, they don't hand you any less than 2.
Yeah.
I mean, just give it out like crazy. And you got all these programs, like the ones for the opiate abusers. Now, I think this one isn't like state funded or whatever. This is from that Purdue pharma company that made the Oxycontins. There's a big, like $50 billion lawsuit, class action suit or something against them. And so for that money to go somewhere, they had to, trickle it down. One of the ways is through like the pathways programs and shit. So these people that were opiate addicts at some point, and they're in some form of treatment now. They also have to agree to be on Suboxone, monitored ordeal. So you got those 2 things going. They will hook you the fuck up. They'll help you with rent. They'll help you with utilities. I really don't know all that went on, but one thing that really caught my eye was when I was going to Pathways to IOP. I remember a couple of people that was in this program. They pulled up it was a truck with a trailer on it. Had 2 brand new electric bicycles, brand new. If you look them up online, $1,900 a piece. That's almost $2,000 for these bikes.
Fuck.
Not to mention everything else that they do. Like I said, that's more of I would say, not a private case, but that pharmaceutical company had to find a way to do something with all this shit. So that's the way they do. But like I said, at the same time, the cost is you have to be on Suboxone. So that's whatever works. You gotta make money where you can.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not sure how much the insurance company shells out for that shit. On another discussion, I just heard this tonight and kind of had it on my mind. I'm gonna look up some more numbers before, having this discussion again with hopefully a few guests. Like get a few more opinions on it and see if we can get some other people ranting about it. But it's I don't know, it's crazy, but apparently today is Recovery Advocacy Day. Let's see what other kind of notes I'll lay down. I think that's pretty well got it. Oh, he said there's 21 Kentucky communities are certified as recovery ready communities. So when I looked that up, it's something along the lines of there's people willing to help transport people to their programs or to the doctor or to work, uh, things like that. And I guess there's housing and shit. Now, I won't get too much into what's going on here in Olive Hill. It's too much of a scandal and shit right now. But anybody listen to this and is from Olive Hill, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's a program here. I mean, there's some great people in it. Um, the people there. I had to go to AA meetings that that their facility hosted when I was in drug court. Had to get so many of those a week, and in little bits here and there. Outside smoking, waiting on the meeting to begin and stuff. You talk to some people and shit, and there really are some decent people here. A lot of them are still in the program, kind of like with ARC, like I was saying. You go on to staff and things like that, but then again, there was someone over there that was staff, and there towards the end of drug court, I go there one day, and hell, all of a sudden this dude's there. It's like, so no one's, don't get me wrong, anyone can go back to using dope and shit, but, if you're already in a facility and somehow you got it, they're going to crack back on you, you start all over, but, something's paying for it, and, anyhow, like I said, I won't get into it too much about what's going on here. Hopefully in the future this is something be comfortable with covering. Um, I don't know, I guess that pretty well covers it for the notes I had. Obviously I would consider this a recovery ready community. Let's see. I had that pulled up earlier. Let me see if I've still got it. I can get the... no, I don't see it. But I do have pulled up still here the average cost of drug rehab. 1.75 thousand, the cost of the cheapest medical detoxification programs. 6,000, the cost for the cheapest inpatient rehabilitation programs per month. $5K, the cost of outpatient rehab for a 3-month program. So that would be like IOP, what was it, intensive outpatient, and I just had to go to this class like 4 times a week, and it got lower and lower until I was only going twice a month, or I don't know, once a week, something.
Yeah.
Anyhow, as time goes, it slims down. But that was a 6-month program, which naturally it took me 11 months. But you get held up for different things here and there. Here we go. The average cost of drug rehabilitation per person is $13,475.
But for like, how long are like the treatments and stuff though? Like, is it like 2 months, 6 months?
Yeah, well, there's different ones. Like right here, it's saying, I think some of these are just basing off the 3 months, because you got like the 30-day, you got the 90-day, then you got the 6-month, and then from there it's your own option. But and I know, like, say, well, I had WellCare, and it only covered, or they switched to where it'll only cover like 60 days worth or something, a 60-day program maybe. Here it's got like some like average episode cost. Let's see. All right, so originally like methadone treatment, which I didn't think that was still even a thing, but average episode is 8,836. Then adjusted for inflation, we're looking at 12,000. Non-methadone outpatient, 1,600, 2,000. Intensive outpatient, that's what I was in. It says nothing about methadone. All right, intensive outpatient, $3,582 episode cost. I need to find out what, I guess that would be the duration of the time you're in. I don't know. That's awfully low for one person for 6 months, but hell, maybe it works. Then after inflation, it's 4,900, basically 5,000. Drug court, here we go. 3,687. now adjusted. Well, 5,000 we'll say. That's, huh. So anyhow, let's see. Cost of treatment per episode. Some of the cheapest cost of treatment. Between certain length stay per episode. Per episode cost means one singular occurrence of a full program. Alright, so that would be like your full treatment, be it a month or 90 days, I think. I'm really not sure. Like I said, I want to have some more shows and conversations on this stuff where I do a little bit more research, so that this could be a little more interesting. Like I said, I seen that today, so in the spirit of, I wanted to record this little discussion and go ahead and upload it tonight. According to YouTube or whatever, you're supposed to wait like X amount of time before you do your shit, but hey, it's the holiday or the recognition day or whatever, and that's the thing, I am in full swing support of the recovery and the programs and shit. It helped me and several of my friends, just several people I know in general, but at the end of the day, it does break down to being different or doing something different. They always say change. You gotta change. You can change. Blah blah blah. Change is like, I think, one of the worst words, or one of the worst ways to say what you gotta do, because change is, I don't know. It seems like it has to be a big step, but if you simply do something different, well, if you're doing something different, then by definition it is change, results in change. It's change from what you were doing. Now you're doing something different, and that's not as heavy as I won't say load. Maybe not as heavy as a burden to work with, because there's a whole one day at a time. So something different would be, I don't know, you always, you smoke a cigarette after a meal, don't smoke a cigarette after a meal, or smoke before. I don't know, that's a really bad example, because, you're destined to smoke, especially if you're stuck in fucking rehab or jail, but, try wearing shoes instead of boots, don't do something that's not really even relevant to the drug. Just do something different. If you eat white bread, start eating wheat bread. Little things like that will break you into doing things different, and eventually you'll do everything you did before different, or the things that cause you problems. And because it's all different, well, that means you've changed. And it's, that it doesn't sound nearly as intense as, you gotta change. So, but yeah, the programs, recovery and things, I'm in full swing support. Let's see, last month I was sober for 2 years. Yeah. Let's see, January 4th. So, anyone can do it. Sometimes you just got to get a little help. And a lot of people are afraid, or even if you're not afraid, you just don't know how or have the resources. That's like here for the longest time. I'm sure you could have found an AA meeting somewhere, but being an act of God, well, maybe not, but you could still find one, but probably not here. But that does seem to do pretty good for some people. Don't get me wrong, it does fucking suck going, but I think what worked for me about it was the disciplinary side of it. I had to go to, I think it was 3 AA meetings each week in drug court. Yeah, and it always stays pretty rough. Just like climbing the stairs to the apartment, you never ease up on it. You're out of breath every single time. So, but I will say for anyone listening that is struggling with addiction or knows someone, or even, not even addiction, just a problem related to substance abuse, feel free to reach out, leaving comments, or I'm sure there's some way to, what do they call it, DM, direct message, tweaker friendly somehow. And sometimes you just need someone to talk to. Sometimes you just need someone to bullshit with, without making it so fucking complicated. You might get the itch to want to use some dope. Well, just like they say with your sponsors, call somebody. You don't even have to call being like, oh man, I'm afraid I'm gonna use and stuff. You think, especially like a sponsor gets a call at fucking 3 in the morning, some little spaz at the fucking rehab that's put his faith in you, was like, oh man, I'm gonna get high. Fuck that. If the dude calls and knew to be like, hey man, what's going on? Yeah, I was up and awake and kind of needed someone to talk to. You're still probably gonna be like, God damn it.
Yeah.
But that's what you're signing up to do. That's you're agreeing to be there for him. But anyhow, happy Recovery Advocacy Day, everybody. Hopefully soon I'll get to show you guys my new